Hello and welcome to the CNBC TV 18 eBix Cash Studio. I'm Sumaira Abdi and you're watching MF Corner. Now, first up, some news from because of the moves in the market. The idea being that asset allocation is the cornerstone of your investment plan and therefore must be maintained at all times. So let's take this conversation on rebalancing forward with Prableen Bajpai, founder of FinFix Research. Hi, Prableen. Thanks very much for joining in. Prableen, let's start with an example of really how much asset allocation can change because of the market moves in, say, a year's time, right? Then perhaps we can understand that the possibility of, how skewed a person's portfolio can be and therefore how to bring it back, right?
Right. Hi, Sumaira. Thanks for having me on the show. Okay, so let's take an example and let me place you as the investor here. So let's say your targeted portfolio was around, your asset allocation was about 55% in equities, about 40% in debt, and 5% in gold. And we start in, let's say, October of 2020. So a year from now, 2021 October, your allocations, which were initially 40% and cumulatively in equity 55%, if we break down that further, let's say 30% in large caps, about 15% in mid caps, and about 10% in small caps, and the gold 5%. That would have really changed, Sumaira, because during this time period, we are assuming that our debt portfolio moved up by about 5%, gold went down by 9%, and large cap, mid cap, and small caps, they moved up by about 56%, more than 80%, and about 102%. So now, Sumaira, the 100 rupee which you had invested in the proportion of 40 rupees and cumulatively the 55 in equities and the 5 in gold has actually moved up to a total of 141. And if you look at the asset allocation, the percentage, your debt, the value would have moved up from 40 rupees to 42 rupees. But in terms of percentage allocation, it has moved down to about 30%. So from your initial allocation, the allocation that you have now is very different, which is instead of 40% in debt, you have about 30% in debt. From about 55% in equities, your equity allocation has gone up to about 67% cumulatively. And your allocation to gold has actually gone down by about 2%. So that's how your portfolio looks like a year later. And interestingly, Sumaira, if as an investor, we just let our portfolios grow and, keep going on, let's say for 1 or 2 decades. So I did a little data study, and if we look at some data from 2000 to 2020, over the 21-year period, and we leave our asset allocation unchanged, or we don't, make any changes to the percentage allocations during this period, and I start with about 60% in equity and go to about 40% in debt, by the end of those 21 years, I would be about 78% in equities and about 22% in debt. And this I've calculated on the basis of real Nifty figures and GSEC figures. So during the 20 years, ideally, I think the asset allocation would have should have changed. In fact, for any investor, your equity portfolio starts going down with age. So the reverse happens if we leave them unchanged.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Prableen. I take your point, entirely. But, what is the exact purpose of this rebalancing? Is it to optimize returns? I mean, I understand that, you need to maintain your asset allocation, but that will also keep changing if you look at a 10, 15-year period, right? So is the purpose to optimize your returns, or is it to actually, just lower the risk?
So, Sumaira, yeah, we've got 2 variables here. It's like that the earth is rotating on its axis and we are also circling the sun. So it's like rotation and revolution, because we need to keep rebalancing, not only just to optimize returns. I think more than returns, it's also that you want to control the level of risk which is controllable in your portfolio. You want to ensure that your risk appetite, you're not going way beyond that. Because let's say a year earlier, you were comfortable investing about 55% in equities. But today, are you comfortable with a 67% allocation to equities? So that's a question which any investor has to, kind of ask themselves. So your risk profile basically changes. And to ensure that you maintain the risk profile which was initially set, you need to make these changes, sell something which is run up and buy those assets or schemes which have actually reduced in your portfolio in terms of allocation. And Sumera, definitely over a period of time, it also helps to generate, in terms of risk adjusted returns, I would say your returns, overall returns are better. Over a 20-year period, there can be about difference of 1.5% in your returns as well if you're making these changes. Okay. And it helps you to keep your emotions under check, because I think that's very, very important, because, I think most of us at these market levels are wondering whether we should be booking profits or not. I think that's one of the most asked questions. And if you know that, you need to rebalance your portfolio based on your asset allocation, I don't think then investors really need to worry about those questions.
Okay, probably when and how should rebalancing be done? When should your portfolio be left alone? And what are some practical ways to manage it, considering that a person would also have to look at, say, taxation, etc.?
Absolutely. So costs are one major disadvantage here, because there can be exit loads, then there can be some capital gains, taxation involved as well, and costs, Sumera, brokerage charges. So I feel for an investor, the three broader ways they can look at rebalancing. One is, time based. So it can be year end for them. It can be any comfortable period when they feel that they have the time to look at their portfolios. So while we say that reviewing a portfolio is very, very important, it is very important to also rebalance if there is a requirement. And this more so is very important for an investor who has those percentages in a very balanced way. Let's say a 40% in equity and a 60% in debt, and they want to maintain that. For somebody, let's say, who's having 80% in debt and is in a PPF or in an EPF, Sumera, then, and his required or desired allocation in equities is actually 40%, the person may not go and make changes, every now and then. So for a regular investor, it can be on a yearly basis. Second can be a tolerance band kind of a thing, that I'm okay if my asset allocation is going up or down by 5 to 10%. And beyond that, I decide that I will be selling or buying a certain asset or schemes within the asset class to make those changes. And the third can be a combination based on your goals. If there is a difference in your goals, if there is some other specific, target that which has come up. So based on life cycle, Sumera, as well, investors can actually make these changes, because I feel it's little more than just saying it on paper that, you go and sell a certain percentage of something and buy. So personal finance is very specific, and, for each person, it would be different. But the idea is to broadly move along the way and kind of hug the asset allocation which you had initially decided on.
Okay, probably in one more question. When, like suppose in the example that you gave, the equity allocation has shot up, right? So that means right. One has to book profit or, whatever in some of the equity schemes to bring down that exposure. Yes. Should you, yes. Exit your well-performing schemes where you have made profit, or do you exit your loss-making schemes?
No, Sumera, I think as a diversified portfolio, you should not always be just selling what is done really, really well. I think it can be a percentage. So if you have small cap, mid caps, and large caps, it's not that just because small caps have run up, you have to sell everything from small caps. So within these, the percentage band can be decided. So in this particular example, small caps and mid caps have gone up by about 4.5% each, and large caps have gone up by about 3%. So let's say maybe a 2% from small caps, another 2% from mid caps, and 1% from large caps can be sold. And if it's a loss-making fund, and if the reviewing, suggests that one should be exiting the particular scheme or a stock, then that should be done, not just on the basis, just for the heck of rebalancing, not for that. If reviewing also suggests that, exit should be made.
Understood. It may be just a lull in that scheme's life cycle. Yeah. Praveen, yes. Thank you very much for joining in and for answering these questions. So, viewers, I hope this was helpful for you. Rebalancing is a very, very important aspect, and I hope that everybody gives it as much importance as the hunt for new schemes. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this useful.